Now, to do the inside of this port, first of all, it's going to be helpful to turn on a section view. Now, a section view is effectively going to cut your model in half. It doesn't actually cut anything. It just visually cuts it in half so you can see the inside of the model as you're working, when in reality the part stays exactly as it was. It's still a full model. Now, over here in the section properties, you can choose which plane you cut it on. In my case, I'm choosing the right plane. Hit OK. And at least I can see what's going on inside this model now, which is always embarrassing because then you can see like how much we cheated, like making this a big solid chunk and then this is hollow and like how is that made? Nobody knows. We haven't figured that out yet. But we can also see that there's this horn is missing. And to build that, as you know, it could be a really repetitive process. We've done this a bunch of times now. And why would we go to the trouble every single time of creating a new part, importing the master model, all that stuff? Well, here's a quicker way. Now that I have this part that's almost exactly what I want, I'm going to open that in a new window, go to File, Save As. Now, this is a really important point. It's going to warn me. It's going to say, do I want to save as a new name or save as a copy? And if I save as a new name, when I save the copy, it's going to replace the existing part in the assembly with the new one. That's not what I want. I want to save as a copy so that this new piece is not in my assembly at all. Let's click Save as a Copy. And just so that you know, if you don't get that warning box, the other way to do it is right down here. If you check this box for Save as a Copy, that's the safest way to create a new part from an old one. So let's call this our port and hit Save. Now notice we saved as a copy, so this file is still called rear nose. And if I close this up, we still have our rear nose file in there. All we have to do is go Insert Component, Browse. I'll find that port file that I created, Open. Don't click anywhere, just insert it straight in. And now we have the port in there. It just happens to be right on top of the rear nose, so it's not very visually obvious. Let's open that part up. Let's delete the mirror operation, that's for sure. We'll delete that fillet, we don't need that. We'll delete the cut revolve. We'll even delete the thicken. And that will get us back to this point where we had a surface trim. Let's edit the surface trim and actually flip it around. Clear selections here. I'm going to keep this side this time and hit OK. Now I can create my port. Really easy. So I'll go to my Surfaces tab. We'll do a thicken. Click this guy. We're going to thicken that by 3 millimeters once again. Close that up. And then finally, let's assign a different material to that. In this case, I'm going to choose, I have in my materials, I have a default gray plastic that I like to use. I'll use this dark gray plastic and assign that to the entire part here. Then we'll go to our features, do a mirror. We're going to mirror that across the right plane. In bodies to mirror, we'll choose that. Merge solids. And there we go. There's our finished port. We can close that up. Yes. And now we have a port in place, and it mates up perfectly with our rear nose. So you'll find very often when you're working with a master model, there will be multiple parts that have very similar construction trees. They're just a little bit different. And so what you can do is just use that save as a copy trick to get past a lot of that repetitive work of re-importing the master model into a new part, blah, 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 blah. So I hope that saves you some time. And I think with that, we're finished with the exterior of this thing. I mean, we've pretty much knocked out the basic design. Now would be the time to send this over to engineering and see how many spit wads they throw at us and how much fun they make fun of us at the lunch table for our silly mechanical design. We'll find out. All right, stay tuned.